Welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Nick Cortez. Well, it's Friday, and that means that it's time once again to take a look back at some of the highlights from this past week on our daily talk show, Barnstable This Morning. We'll start on Monday, July 19th, when we discussed with Town Manager John Klim the Town Council's recent decisions on how to finance sewer expansion, as well as the potential taking and repair of the town's private roads. And while the Council was able to make some final determinations, the way forward ultimately will be decided by a town-wide vote. Here, the manager explains the ballot questions that residents will see this November.
The sewer program is $750,000 a year, and the private roads program is an appropriation of $3 million a year. We have almost 200 miles of private roads in the town of Barnstable, and actually over 42% of our citizens live on private roads. Now, a lot of those roads were built in the 70s and 80s when there was a huge growth spurt in the town of Barnstable, and so those roads are beginning to fail. They have not been regularly maintained. The town of Barnstable has plowed them in the winter months and performed a limited amount of emergency repairs, but there hasn't been routine maintenance, and so you're talking about a huge financial liability headed towards us in the town of Barnstable as it relates to private roads. And ultimately, we believe that should be a decision of our citizens, whether they want to take on this responsibility or not. On the issue of sewers, we've known for years that our coastal embayments and water quality is being impacted by nitrogen contamination, and we're involved, as many other towns are on Cape Cod, in dealing with this issue. And so it is a milestone that we've gotten to a point where we are asking our citizens to participate and to decide on these two important issues. And so we'll see what happens in November.
After 15 years of planning, ground was finally broken this week on the Barnstable Municipal Airport's new air traffic control tower, the first in a series of projects that will also include a new terminal building and access road. On Wednesday, July 21st, we spoke with airport manager Bud Brialt, who shared with us the significance of the day and the positive influence that the new construction will have on the surrounding area.
It was very significant. I'm not trying to downplay that at all. It was a tremendously significant day in the fact that we're finally moving forward after all these years of work to get to this point and trying to, get everything to come together right so that we can do this. And so we're really excited to be moving forward and taking the first steps with the air traffic control tower any time now.
Sure. Now, during your remarks at the groundbreaking on Monday, you touted the airport as one of the main drivers of the economy in town, and I don't think I debate you on that. But as these improvements get going and get completed over the course of the next year or two, how do you think it's going to affect the airport and its ability to continue to grow in that role that you mentioned on Monday?
Well, I think it's going to give us an impetus here and an opportunity perhaps to improve our business relationships with our tenants and perhaps even attract other tenants to the area. And I'm hoping that it will also be an impetus to, get some of the neighborhoods to upgrade and to become more of a business center.
So do you think that the redesign of the airport might spur on other businesses in that area? Is that what you're saying? Because obviously that airport rotary area there are businesses of all different kinds of varieties and in all different types of physical condition there. Do you think that it'll have a positive influence to maybe spruce up some of those more blighted properties around you?
Oh, that's what I'm hoping. As part of this project, we're taking down 8 old dilapidated buildings.
Yeah.
So that alone would be an improvement. And excuse me, and I know some of our abutters are improving their facilities and growing. Pan d'Avignon is growing, so Cape Air is growing and improving their facility. Rectrix is talking about improving and expanding their facilities. So I just think that the climate is right, and we're part of that, and we welcome this opportunity.
A day earlier, on our Tuesday, July 20th program, Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce CEO Wendy Northcross expressed her enthusiasm over the airport groundbreaking and spoke on the importance of having strong infrastructure in place to attract year-round residents.
And I hear over and over again, well, Cape Cod is not just a seasonal economy anymore, and kind of hasn't been for the last couple of decades, but it's more and more a year-round place. People are choosing to live here because of the lifestyle. But as you know, there's, aside from our healthcare system and government, there are no major employment entities. So people are creating their own jobs. They're creating their own smaller companies. And, we're seeing more and more of that. That's half of what we do here at the Chamber. So I think that the trend will be people will be retiring from their city job, looking to have that place closer to the coast, and trying to find a place that they can settle down, start the next phase of their life. But they need the infrastructure, and the economy runs on broadband, and it runs on transportation and smart people. So we got to keep our transportation network very strong.
Another big story over the past 2 weeks has been the boil water orders issued in the town, first for the Centerville, Osterville, Marston's Mills Fire District, and then for the Barnstable Fire District, both of which have since been lifted. During our weekly water protection segment on Thursday, July 22nd, Dr. Dale Sod, Senior Project Manager with the Department of Public Works, explained to us how these situations arise.
Well, Nick, what usually happens is our people in these different water systems, the water purveyors, go out on a regular basis out sampling. The Hyannis water system, for an example, during the summer months, they take about 90 samples throughout the system. That's in the water distribution system, in the wells, the storage tanks, even the treatment plants. And what occurs is that groundwater is not sterile. There are organisms that live out there.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is they'll get a test, and usually what happens is nothing's growing on the plates. They actually, plate out these organisms. And what happens is you'll actually get a sample that will come back, and it will be test positive for what they call total coliform.
Mm-hmm.
But if in addition to that, they also test positive for E. coli, which is an organism that is a subgroup of the total coliform and fecal coliforms, that are an indication of fecal contamination.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually, something that could be harmful to us because it comes from warm-blooded animals and people.
Sure.
And once they get that combination of the two positives, that's when usually a boil order will go out.
Now, when boil water orders happen, how controllable are things like these? Because as you just mentioned, water quality is monitored constantly in all of the water districts around town. So how does this end up happening anyway? Is it difficult to control?
Well, there's several different things. Like I had mentioned that, groundwater isn't, pure and sterile. There's organisms in there naturally occurring.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we can do is to protect against this, bacterial contamination is you can do treatment, which you can do it at each wellhead. Sometimes they'll do it actually when water from several different wells will come together at one treatment plant. What they can do is a filtration. They can do a disinfection. That can be chlorine, which is often used.
Mm-hmm.
They can do ozonation or UV disinfection. But a much better way for prevention is prevention of the bacteria from ever really getting in there. The bacteria that's associated with fecal contamination that's coming from us.
If you'd like to see these complete interviews, every episode of Barnstable This Morning is available to watch online. You can find them in the town's video archives at town.barnstable.ma.us. Well, that's all for now. Everybody have a great weekend. I'm Nick Cortez, and we'll see you next time on Barnstable Today.